Hello, how's it going? It's Big 12 BMNT, aka The History, back again with another video. Like I said in my World War One video, I said I was going to do the Roaring Twenties, but my Civil War one, I was like, nah, I wasn't going to do it. Decided, what the hell. So, today, we have the Roaring Twenties. And, here we go. So, when did it happen? Roaring Twenties started right after a couple months after World War One, and the end of the Roaring Twenties was Black Tuesday in 1929, when the stock market finally crashed. But we'll get there. We gotta talk about the economy. The economy was now facing a massive surplus of people now buying stuff, renting houses, buying the new thing that was made was called radios. Like, now we just take radios for something that's stuck in our car, but back then, if you had a radio, you were like the rich guy on the block. New products were being added, new cars, new cars, radio, like I said, chemical products were getting added. And then urbanization, which was moving from small towns into big cities. It had its peak in the middle of the 1920s. Society. What happened during the 1920s? The first thing that happened, suffrage. And for those who don't know what suffrage is for the women to vote. That finally happened here in the United States in 1920, which was... Oh crap, why is it escaping me? I wanna say 19th Amendment, maybe? I'm not sure, but I'll look it up later and there'll be an annotation probably right over this screen. And then there was also the Lost Generation, were young people who came out of World War One. They didn't really have a mindset. They were kind of had minds still in war mode, so they kind of don't remember the Roaring Twenties. They were all focused on war. And then Prohibition. Prohibition was the stop of alcohol, which was led by the women, and then the males started to realize this, that alcohol is leading to women getting beat up, drunken rages, and all that. So the 18th Amendment banned alcohol in this country. And you think about that today, and you're like, why would they ban alcohol? Back in the 20s, if we took a time machine back there, you would see why. Luckily, in the 30s, they realized their mistake of doing that, so they repealed it with the 21st Amendment. Easy way to remember that is that the drinking age was 18, and then it got moved up to 21. 18 was the act that banned alcohol, 21 was the one that repealed it. The world of art. Art kind of had its peak. Art Deco was a new thing that was happening in Europe, and it kind of moved over now to the United States. You see it more in like the Chrysler Building. And then the Harlem Renaissance, which was, you know, the section in Harlem. They started doing their own art, music. This is where Louis Armstrong came from. And literature and all this. And then you get cinema, which was old black and white, silent movies with the random guy in the front playing the piano. This is where Harley Chapman got his fame from, was silent films. And then, in the world of books, some of you have probably read most or not all of these books. You get The Great Gatsby out of it, the movie that came out. It was a great novel. The Sun Also Rises, which, by the way, this year is for the academic decathlon. That is the book, The Sun Also Rises. All is Quiet on the Western Front, about World War One. The Sides of Paradise, about post-World War One. The last and the first one were both written by F. Scott Fitzgerald, a great writer. I would recommend both of these books, The Great Gatsby and The Side of Paradise. Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway was a good book. I'm not quite done with it yet, but we'll see what happens. And All Quiet on the Western Front, I want to read that book. I want to see what happens. I haven't got around to reading it yet. Then you get to the presidents of that time, which were all Republicans. Just take a note. All of them were Republicans. First one was Warren G. Harding. He was the return to normality. Nobody wanted to be in any conflict after World War I, because it was known as the war to end all wars. But we look in later that it wasn't, with Hitler and World War II happening, going to happen like a decade and a little more after. To be brutally honest, Warren G. Harding didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was basically the cover guy that everybody wanted as their president. The guy that looks good and makes us look good. He didn't know what he was doing. He had his Ohio gang, which was a bunch of corrupt politicians in Ohio that he brought in to be like his Secretary of State, Treasurer, and all that stuff. And this got him into a lot of scandals. More importantly, Teapot Dome. If you want to Google that, you can. But then he dies in office August 3rd of 1923. And then Calvin Coolidge comes up. He had to deal with all the backlash of Warren G. Harding's scandals and all that. He was the first president to deliver the speech over radio, which nobody has heard. Anybody. It's even recorded. So, then you get Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover was born in Iowa. For your Iowa people, yes, I'm going to poke fun of you, but it explains a lot about Herbert Hoover. He was elected in 1928. He was the president that went into the Great Depression, and then everybody blamed most of it on him. Which we get to now is Black Tuesday. So everybody's going good. And some things trigger this. It's like what I said about World War I, like powder keg. All it needed was a spark on Black Tuesday. It's kind of like everybody was doing this newfangled thing back in the 20s. They called it credit, and they were buying houses on credit, but sooner or later, they couldn't pay up anymore, and it just bit everyone in the butt. And this happened when the market crashed Black Tuesday, October 29th, 1929. The market fell, and then unemployment, we're talking about, I remember back in like 2010, we were talking about the employment getting to like 10%. It got up to 1/4. Like 1/4 of the population was unemployed at the peak of the Great Depression. Herbert Hoover got blamed for all of this. They even named, like, the place where people that have no homes go, Hoovervilles, and everything was named Hoover there. But this led the way to FDR and him reforming all of this. And then him going on into World War II and eventually dying. So, this is my outlook on the Roaring '20s. It was a great time, is what history tells us. But in the end, it just went to hell. So, I'll be back. Probably not going to do a video every day, because why would I? But like I always say, leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you even want to, and leave a comment saying, what should I do next? I will still look at comments from my Civil War video, and I also look at comments from here. Do you want me to do Revolutionary War, War of 1812, Great Depression, any historical thing? Hell, I'll even do the JFK assassination if you really wanted me to. But no Miley Cyrus. Oh god, I'm not going on the history of Miley Cyrus. You'd rather want to shoot me. So, leave a comment saying saying what you want to learn. And with school starting up, I think these videos will become helpful to more people. So, thanks for watching. And it is, as it always will be, on my channel. Oh, and if you want to see any other videos, just go to my name, Ben Stanky. That's my real name. Hooray! Click the videos. I have my World War I, my Civil War, and I'll have this right next to it. And there's also the 10 worst history NFL teams. I did that back in 2009. Surprisingly, it's my most popular video. But just watch what you want to, and it is a good day, as it always will be, in history.